short video. Today I want to address something of very, very serious concern to all Australians. These politicians brush you off and treat you like criminals, treat you like subordinates to them. They do the bidding of investors instead of representing their constituents. Now, we've just watched Moreton Bay City Council, the city of Moreton Bay at Redcliffe in Queensland, forcibly remove people from a homeless camp in a park. Where are you going to go? Serious question. Where are you going to go? We are seeing an increased homelessness problem because this Australian government is inept at managing finances. We've seen that through the words of Peter Costello. The fact that they borrowed so much money and put that sweat labour on your backs, forcing you into slavery to pay that position off, has led to an increased homeless situation where people are now unable to pay their mortgages. We're not talking about a lower caste of society that somewhat chooses this situation. We are talking about a wider selection of society in lawful abiding people who try to pay their mortgages and just get by buying less and less food, fuel, and the basic essentials of human rights. Now, what Moreton Bay has done at Redcliffe is actually a human rights violation, an international war crime called a crime against humanity. I would like you to look up the Criminal Code 1995 at section 268.11, forcible displacement. You become homeless in the region you grew up in, and you don't want to leave the region you grew up in, but you are forcibly displaced by the council that doesn't represent you anymore because it represents investors. It is a crime to forcibly displace people from the region they live in. It is a crime to do what Moreton Bay City Council have done. They made a decision to displace a homeless population that wouldn't be there if they managed their books correctly. They want investors to come in and take your homes. They want immigrants to come in and take your homes. Albo's immigration plan is to bring new slaves into the farm so they can be farmed for their sweat labour. Pay off this bondage or slavery the federal government has put you in. What disturbs me the most here is that the Queensland Police are directly involved in participating in a criminal offence. The council used in-house rangers who don't have jurisdiction in the matter to then employ the police to do the bidding of the CEO of Moreton Bay City Council. Now, under the Queensland Criminal Code 1899, at section 469, the willful destruction of any property, whether that be public or private, is a criminal offence. And we just watched Moreton Bay City Council use bulldozers to destroy all those people's property willfully with coercion, which brings in another offence under 56B of that. Coercion is a criminal offence. Coercing people of homelessness out of the region they belong to is an international war crime listed under the Criminal Code 1995. One could ask very specifically why the police did not inform the council that they could not displace people, that they could not willfully destroy property, willfully destroy all of those people's tents and private and personal belongings inside those tents. Queensland Police willfully destroyed property in front of the entire world on video. It's being reported by The Guardian and other international papers as a human rights violation. Yet the Queensland Police willingly carried out that violation of humanitarian law, which is in the Criminal Code 1995, making it a crime, a criminal offence perpetrated by select police officers that followed the bidding of select council members, including the CEO. A directive. Get these people out of their own land. Now, it should be pointed out, it was pointed out by that discussion with Peter Costello and the other ex-Deputy Prime Minister, the governments don't own any money. It's your money. The governments don't own any land. It's your land. It's called Crown land. And those parks, all those facilities were put aside for you by those public servants. And those public servants have treated you like criminals while committing criminal offences in the act of doing that. Forcibly displacing you from a land a council does not own. Forcibly relocating you using the police who, instead of upholding the law, committed a crime along with the council. Now, it should have been the job of the Queensland Police to inform the CEO of Moreton Bay Council that it is unlawful to forcibly displace people from their region. It's a crime. The Queensland Police should have informed the CEO of Moreton Bay City Council that they won't willfully destroy property because it's a crime. Now, if you were to do that, depending on how bad it was, would be a misdemeanor or a real offence. This offence attracts a jail sentence of 5 years. But forcibly displacing people that are homeless sees an attracted sentence of 17 years in jail. What you've just seen in Moreton Bay, which will occur in all the other councils around the country as they believe they own what is the Crown's, what they are supposed to manage as public servants of that crowd, what you'll see is this increase across the country. You'll start to see homelessness increases as you can't afford your mortgages. So we're not talking about drug addicts, willfully homeless, problematically homeless. We're now talking about the middle class. Those people that can't afford to feed their children properly anymore because of what this Australian government has done. And make no mistakes here. We're not talking about the Parliament. We're talking about the executive branches of government that control Albo, that have caused this international incident. So I call upon all lawyers, I call upon the entire legal fraternity to look. You may earn $1 million. You may be able to afford your home and have blinkers on in respect to how people are suffering right now. But you only need to look at the cost of being alive crisis. What they should say is it's a consumer crisis. They keep consuming too much. Who pays for it in the international sense when you had to borrow $1 trillion? Those consumers are dead people having a living crisis. Dead legal fictions having a living crisis. The way they've worded this legally is disgusting. They know what they're doing, manipulating you by the mind. And what I am saying to all of you is don't let it happen. Start standing up to these people. Start reporting them as criminal offences. Start walking into courtrooms and charging the police officers and the councils that did this to you. Now, you're all expecting Steve to come along and fix it for you. And I have said this time and time again. There is nothing more I can do but hold the line of what was already established at law. It's up to you to stand up for yourself. It's up to you to stand up to the police. It's up to you to stand up to the state. They're the ones treating you like paupers. They're the ones treating you like wards of the state when the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution very clearly states, whereas the people of the states agreed to unite under the blessing of Almighty God. That's you. That's not the state. That's you as a people being dragged back down and held as wards of the state instead of your public servants doing the job of serving you. They master you because financially you borrow from them. It's time for you to realise Criminal Code 26811 Federal, Criminal Code 469 Queensland. They willfully damaged your property. That's a criminal offence that sees 5 years in jail, and a police officer in Queensland was supposed to uphold that law but participated in the destruction of your property. Willfully. Just following orders was no excuse at law. They should know the law, and they should turn around to these councils and say, no, we will not participate in genocide. Because that's what forcible displacement is. It's cleansing without the ethnic part. It's cleansing of the constituents of a council constitution, a state constitution, a federal constitution. And that federal constitution has Criminal Code 1995, and that state has Criminal Code 1899, and that council comes under Queensland Local Government Acts. They're all linked together, and those police should have held the law instead of falling into it. So I'm asking all of you, you're going to sit on your hands waiting for Steve to fix it? I can't make 1 million phone calls every day. Oh, I can't write all the paperwork you want. You have to do it. You have to stand united against an oppressive regime that runs your councils, your states, and your federal government. Otherwise, more homelessness occurs. Otherwise, more debts are put on your back for your sweat labour in slavery and human bondage. You choose this by sitting on your hands. You choose this by whining at each other instead of uniting as that community that got oppressed by that council. Now, before I go, this requires support. I can't keep looking at the world around us and picking out all the crimes and speaking from a human rights perspective if I don't get the support from everyone. We technically needed an office a long time ago, and we can't afford that. We just can't afford to be in an office without all of your support. Now, a bakery is something that I have still got. I've got a coffee machine, a grinder, an oven, all the cutlery, all the baking pans, everything. We need a location to be able to work from. Now, I've been investigating a few different areas around the country where I might want to go and do that. Your support is kind of required. And then when we go and do that, please come visit and spend money in that situation. We have several bank accounts. I don't have the time to manage the websites and all this other stuff. You're asking me to speak regularly. You're asking me to speak on your behalf. But there's no one doing the paperwork. There's no one talking to all the legal teams around Australia. There's no one constantly pestering the politicians with credible information. There's just a bunch of whinging tards everywhere. And it's time you started to realise there are people among you manipulating you into arguing with each other all day. And you ever think who they might work for? They might work for the State Protection Squad, trying to protect the criminal activities of those members of the states. You never think about what's going on around you because you spend your time on social media. Oh, whingy, whingy, whinge. Oh, post whingy, whingy, whinge. Oh, post whingy, whingy, whinge. Back to sitting on the toilet. Got to do a big shit now. Right? That's all you do. At some point, you're responsible. At some point, you have to get the paperwork together. At some point, you have to inform us of what you want to do, and you'll get the support you need. Right? We're not doing it for you. This is the part that you haven't grasped. Oh, I've got a red ensign and it's a red standard. It's a king's flag. It was consecrated by many, many people in 50 country towns and 9 major cities, including all 6 capital cities. You did that. You need to act like that again, every day. That's who you are as a people. If you don't want to be that people and stand up for yourselves, well, you've got a Moreton Bay City Council problem coming for your council as they start to impact upon all the Australians that are homeless in your region. Some of them might be your family. Some of them might be your friends. You might have to put friends on your couch. You might have to do all of these things to stand up. Otherwise, it's just going to push you down, push you out. Hello, more immigrants, please. We need more debt slaves come into this country so we can farm you. That's what Albo's looking for. You saw in the last video that young bloke in front of the Treasurer, in front of Albo. And did you see the look on the Treasurer's face? Did you see the look on Albo's face? Jim Chalmers stood there like, oh, get him out of here. Well, this is not PR anymore. Oh, I don't want to address this situation that I created. And Albo didn't know what to do. Please, remove him. Oh, I've got to look at the ground. Because Albo doesn't represent any of you. He represents all that investment going on in that room. More dollars for the farm. Come on, farm workers, go and do your job. We need to rape you all for your sweat labour in bondage. That's what Albo cares about. More immigrants for the farm. We need more slaves to generate more cash to pay off the loans. So look at the support button. Look at those bank accounts. Look at contacting. Look at working together in your own groups. Look at standing up for yourselves for once, instead of this constant rhetoric of not knowing what's going on while you rely on all these idiots that think they have answers. I'm still waiting for that McCann doctor to show results. No results. Sad, isn't it? You all think you have the answers and refuse to listen to the answers because you're better than. Are you better than? Look at all those homeless people in that park created by the state. Look how the state treated them. That could be you, right? It's getting a lot more worse than what you ever thought it would be. It hasn't even begun yet. Right? They told you clearly we had to borrow $1 trillion and we're going to keep your kids in slavery until the year 2080. That's 50 years. That's another 50 years where they'll put your kids into smart cities, microchip everything they carry, their phone, their wallet, their key cards, their passports, their driver's licenses, monitor everything they spend, put carbon credits on their purchases. Slavery for your children, because all you managed to do for the last 20 years was bicker with each other like your children. So thank you to everyone that's already donated. Thank you to everyone that's kept this going for the many years that this has grown. Thank you to everyone to see their ancestors, their real flag, the fact that that blue ensign with a 7-pointed star is a imposter, occupier, administrator, Israel. To see now that what your forefathers left you is being pulled out from under your feet while those councils treat you like paupers and don't want you on their land anymore. Get off our land. This is our park. Hang on a second, council. You don't own any land. You manage the people's land. And you forcibly remove those people from their land. And the police enable it. So thank you to everyone that's helped us keep this voice going, because this is who you are in international law. As you start to realise that the politicians serve Israel. Scottish Rite Freemasons. Not you. Not your foundations. not the lineage of Queen Victoria, not the lineage of your Anzac. They serve something foreign to your Anzac. And all those veterans and RSL members are going to get a big wake-up call when they realise they've been serving a foreign power. A foreign power. You helped a foreign power screw your own country. You only have to look at the police in Victoria. Look at what they did during the Arms Expo. They used all those weapons on the protesters outside in a glorified TV episode to show the world who's in command. What did Matthew Reason of New South Wales fixated State Protection Squad call it? Military policing. You don't know anything about military policing. Are you telling me that you're the military State Protection Squad? Are you telling me that you're the military state police? Are you telling me that you're obligated to all those international laws you keep breaking because these people are ignorant of their own standing in that international law? It's up to all of you. Donate, support, speak up, write documents, submit them, get lawyers involved, get human rights people involved. Start looking at what they're doing to you. Get all these people involved. Start creating a storm. The storm is coming. These people are liable and they should be made accountable. So how about you use that narrative? The storm is coming and you're going to create it. You're going to be the whirlwind that comes in and upsets their apple pie. You're the one that's going to take it off the windowsill and drop it on the ground and smash it open and say, "Look at what you've done." You have to be that. No one else is going to be that for you. So today's lesson is, look at what's going on around you and stop sitting there whining like children about it and actually gather the forces together and go and make them accountable for once. It's the only option, isn't it? Right? The only last resort of people in chains is to stand up and defend themselves from those that put them in those chains.